I'm going to start us off. I'm Aubrey Mayer. I'm the junior sailing director at BCYC. Really excited to have this Zoom. Really excited about the fall program this fall. We're going to try some new things. I'm going to close the door. Sorry about that. We're going to try some new things to make it more exciting for everybody. So we have this new format that's pretty, has some characteristics from the traditional Balboa Bay Fleet summer program, in that we are going to run 6 regatta days, which and basically 3 two-day events, so 3 move-up events within the context of your fall Friday sailing, which will make it a little bit more exciting, a little bit more of something to sail for, and hopefully create a better turnout and ultimately lead to you guys improving your sailing. So we're really excited about this, and we're going to break up the regattas with 3 collaborative clinics between the 5 yacht clubs that have been working together all summer: Newport Harbor, Long Beach, Lido Island, Balboa, and Bahia Corinthian. So the idea is that you guys are going to get a little bit from all of the different coaches, and we have a lot of great coaches here. As a lot of you guys know, Mark Gaudio from BCYC has 17 Sabot national championships, which is pretty epic. And he's kind of like the wizard of, Newport Harbor, the turning basin. Adrian Patterson over there at Newport Harbor was female college sailor of the year and is a world champion team racer. So not too shabby. And Nate is obviously, national champion, I guess, in the Sabot and high school. So he's incredible. And Brooke is amazing at running the C3s, and and there's a lot of other great coaches. Jack Flores here, great Sabot sailor, great all-around sailor. Jake Mail from BCYC, 2-time Sabot national champion. Anyways, the list goes on, and you're going to get to experience all of us, and Cameron, of course. Hey, Cameron. He was my boss at BCYC. And he was actually taught me a lot about the Sabot, so he's a wealth of knowledge there as well. So in any case, I'm really excited about the Friday program. I think it's going to be amazing. I think you guys are all going to learn a lot. You're going to get to race a lot, and it's going to be super fun. I'm going to kick the mic to Mark Gaudio, who's going to talk about our first drill tomorrow, which is the slalom drill. I'm going to get, and this is boat handling and boat speed, and Mark, you can come off mute now, and I'm going to get your picture up here, so all the kids can see. Can everybody see that?
I can't see.
What I would recommend is if you do speaker view, that'll instead of seeing everyone's faces, do speaker view. It'll make the screen bigger with whoever's talking.
Did he click screen share?
It's not on the computer, but
if you put it for the computer, we could see it better.
Okay.
Do you want me to share the joint drill
Correct.
PDF, Aubrey?
Sure. I think my screen's pretty visible. I can see it pretty visibly.
I can see it. And it might be easier if you pin him. Pin the video.
I'm quite impressed with our juniors.
They're way better than I am.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that?
Okay, I'm going to pin the video. I've never done that before, but let's give that a shot.
I shouldn't be impressed, but I am. That's awesome.
Oh, I did it.
So I want to say first off, this is like a great turnout. This is the best team collaboration I've ever seen between all the yacht clubs in Newport Harbor and Long Beach as well. So it's really fantastic. And, we're still going through this, not normal, new normal, ridiculous normal, whatever time, but we're certainly making the best of it. And this to me, I worked at my real month, and this we're already doing fall, so it's just like we're just picking. And it's great that we have a unbelievable collaborative coaching staff. So I'm really just excited to be a part of it, and looking forward to everybody pitching in and giving it their all. So my first drill is, I don't get to do this, but maybe once a year, and I would like to do it all the time, but it's pretty labor intensive. It takes several coaches setting this double slalom. So what we're going to do, and I'll ask all the coaches while you're all here, just bring as many marks within reason as you can. If each yacht club brings, we'll probably bring 10. If everybody can, if we can get 20 marks out there total, we're just going to set a line. And it's weird with the current and the puff. They move around. It won't be perfect, but it'll be close. And we'll set them probably, 3-4 boat lengths apart. And there'll be a starboard side, which we're going to attempt to roll tack up, depending on the conditions. And when you get to the top mark, you reach off and you go probably, just 5 or 10 boat lengths. And then we're going to jibe down the other slalom all the way down. There could be coaches in the middle. There could be coaches on the side. Between all of us coaches, we will give tips individually, partially grouped, depending on the situation. And it's just a really good thing. When you get to the top mark, you're just going to do a simple reach. And when you get to that mark to the left, if you will, or to port of the slalom, looking upwind, Nate Dunham will like this, because he's a real proponent of this, and I commend him for that. When you're easing your main to go downwind, right? If you heel your boat a little bit to weather, some of the top kids can heel it quite a bit. That will induce leeward helm, meaning your bow will go down without having to move the tiller as much. When you don't have to move the tiller as much, you're not creating as much rudder drag or stall. Anyone that knows the Naples Sabbath, they're very easy to stop the boat, or for sure easy to slow down. So we're going to be looking for roll tacking, going upwind. People have a propensity to hit the rail too early, and that takes the snap out of the roll tack. That gives it a drag, and then you end up having to over rudder and go sideways. A lot of people do this double rock, which is really, I'm not a proponent of that. You want to hit the weather side out of your roll tack, nice and flat. You don't want to pancake the boat. So we're going to have a great time. And when you get to the bottom mark, you basically just take it to port, and then you'll reach over and you'll just repeat that. And we'll do it. I don't know if you can see the board. It says we continue till dizzy. So, maybe we'll do that 3 or 4 times, depending on the conditions. But it's just a really good, icebreaker, good kinetic little drill. And everybody, there's no such thing as having too good a roll tack or too good a roll jibe. Things to think about tonight. Some of the top kids know how to cowboy. That's when you're taking the main sheet from the forwardmost block. I think pretty much everybody has aft travelers that will be out there. If not, if there's anybody with center traveler, you just grab the 3 strands, and when you're max downwind, when the boat is completely unweighted, which is either side of dead downwind, basically the middle of your jibe, that's when you take that main sheet, and rather than do several pulls, little pulls after the pulley on your center thwart, you give it one dynamic cowboy swing as you move your body over, and it's a nice way to get the main across a little bit more effortlessly. And once that main is starting, is you're in control and it's going over for you, then you can slightly ease the tiller toward you, put the bow back down, because we don't want to do reach to reach jibes. We want to go as close to downwind, but still have speed out of the old jibe into the new jibe. So all these little tips and tidbits, all the great coaches that will be there, they'll know exactly how to articulate. And we're going to have a, you know, quite a diverse group. We'll have C2s on that same slalom, as well as some A's and B's. So I will say this: if you're going to make a pass your people, your friends, do it in a way that doesn't affect them in a negative way. And if you're really good and you're about to make a pass on either side of them, you could even say, hey, I'm going to drive through, you know, Lured and go right around you, or, you know, whatever you want to articulate. But we don't want to create congestion. When I do it with a smaller group, I try to have 2 boat lengths between each boat. But in very rapid fashion, people are passing each other because their maneuvers are quicker. And in this case, we've got a lot of varying abilities. So either way, we're going to have a great go at the drill. We have a great talented staff to help everybody out there. And I really am looking forward to it. I'll pass the baton.
All right, Cameron, I think you're up, and you're going to talk about your cone drill.
All right, thanks, Aubrey. Can everybody see the whiteboard okay?
Yeah, that looks great, man.
All right. So I have a feeling most of you guys have done the cone drill before, but I'm going to kind of talk it out just so that we're all on the same page. We're going to begin with a start. So here's our starting line, and everyone will be set up. We'll have a normal sequence. We might shorten the sequence actually to 2 minutes so that we're not just wasting time. And after the gun, you'll see a coach boat directly above the line. And once you're off the line, you're going to sail for, you know, the first 10, 15, 20 seconds. Boats at the pin are going to be the ones that need to tack first. And so the goal of this drill is to treat the coach boat that's slowly motoring upwind, idle forward, as a weather mark. And you notice what I just drew there. These are called ley lines. And the objective of this drill is to stay inside those ley lines. So pin boat gets there first, okay? They're gonna face the decision to whether they're gonna have to tack right away, whether they're gonna overstand a tiny bit, or maybe tack early. What are some factors that would, you know, influence this decision? Well, if you are bow even or maybe a little bow ahead of that boat to windward of you, you're going to have to create some space because you can't just throw the tiller over because that would be tacking too close. Remember, all the right-of-way rules apply. So one strategy this do is notice that they're, you know, locked in with this windward boat and create some space a little earlier. So back here, they're going to foot a little more, meaning head down, to make it so they can tack and then duck. Okay? So same goes for boats that maybe tack early, have a bad start, and need to get out. They're going to be approaching the starboard ley line, and they're going to have to do the same thing. As soon as they get to that ley line, they got to decide, okay, do I want to tack a little early? Do I want to tack right on the ley line, or do I want to overstand a little bit? Now, just like at a weather mark, you don't want to sail all the way out here to overstand. That's actually against the rules of this drill, but maybe a boat length is okay. And then you're right back in it. So this will be a congested drill. Lots of tacking as you get closer and closer to the weather mark, aka the coach boat. And so as you get into that top third of the zone here, you're going to be doing a lot of tacks. And again, right-of-way rules still apply. So we need to make sure that we're, you know, communicating. Hailing before our tacks is always helpful. Not required, but it's helpful. And we need to observe the port starboard rules. We also need to observe the windward leeward rules. Okay? And once you get to within the last couple boat lengths to the coach boat, you're going to be basically in a tacking duel with yourself. And that's where the roll tacks and the boat handling become extremely important. You got to have solid roll tacks. You can't drop the main sheet. Any little mistake, and it's going to put you right back behind, and you're going to get past. And it's easy to get past in this drill. So stay focused. Boat handling is key. And in the last little bit there, your goal is to touch the motor with your hand, not the bow of your boat. And once you do that, you're going to touch the motor, and you're going to peel out all the way back to the end of the line. You're going to duck the last boat, and we're going to continue. Adrian had a good suggestion. Maybe I'll hang a hippity hop mark off the back of the boat so you can tap that rather than the motor. All right, so the best sailors should be able to touch the mark within, 2 or 3 times within this drill. And the sailors that still need some work on their boat handling may never get to the coach boat. And so this will be a good way to tell, what you need to work on. Okay. Any questions?
Something to just chime in on this drill as well. I think it's really important, and one of the things that I see that is a big pet peeve of mine when sailors duck, right? Ducking is not bad. However, if you're ducking somebody, you're altering your course, and so a sail change, like an ease of the sail, is required to keep your boat up to full speed. So when you're doing this drill, if you do decide to duck and go get the right advantage, starboard advantage in the cone drill, don't forget to ease your sail and watch what the boat does with its boat balance when you're heading up and heading down. So this is a really good drill for boat handling, sail trim. There's tactics involved because like I said, you can get to the right and have starboard advantage on people. So it's a really great drill from beginners all the way up to the Saturday sailors.
Adrian brings up a good point. Starboard definitely has the advantage in this drill, and so if you're carrying it all the way to the port lay line near the top, you might reconsider that. One of the strategies to this is to protect the right, and so you can try several different approaches to this, and also, like Adrian said, sail trim, boat handling, heel, that all plays into this because every little foot, every little inch counts. That's all I
Okay,
got.
Cameron, it's Mark. I have a question.
Yeah.
Is it okay if they approach that last top and touch the mark or not, get close, whatever, and they're on starboard? Can they peel off and round and go back down around to port? So you've got some boats going to the one side of the fleet coming upwind and some boats going to the left, or do you don't want everybody to follow each other down around that right side?
No, I'd say peel off whichever way is easiest. Path of least resistance. Just your job once you make it up to the top is get out of there and make room for the next guy or gal. Good question. Any other questions? Awesome. All right, I'll pass the mic back to Aubrey.
Hey, thanks, Cameron. You were amazing. And I think we're gonna. I think Adrian's up now, and we're kind of gonna do one of these together, maybe, and then she's gonna own one of these. I don't know. Was start here, finish there, yours or mine? My notes are kind of.
That's yours.
Okay.
Start here, finish there.
All right. So I'm going to talk about start here, finish there. I'm going to be the race committee boat tomorrow, guys. I'm either going to be in the big blue BCYC twin engine inflatable or Blue Star. So, you'll be able to spot me. Start here, finish there is a drill we do often in high school and 420 sailing. I think it's, also, going to be very important for your Sabbath sailing. It basically teaches you to have a good, clean start and sail straight. So the objective, if Adrian could draw a finish line there on her board, that'd be amazing. That'd be perfect, actually. Perfect. So the finish line is, maybe if we have enough coaches, we can actually anchor a finish boat. So the idea is to start and sail straight to the finish. So if you have to, obviously, if you have a good start and you can sail straight off the line with a nice size lane for, I want to say, anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. The longer you can do this, the better your race is going to be. So what this drill really teaches you how to do is to have a good, clean start and sail straight. If you have a good start, typically at the pin, you're going to be able to squirt out and cross everybody who had a decent start or even a mediocre start in the middle to the boat end of the line. If you have a great start at the boat, you're probably going to be able to sail straight and finish the race in the top group, right? And likewise, if you have a great start in the middle, you're going to be able to do the same. But if you have a bad start and you don't have a lane and you have to tack, you're not going to have a very good result in this drill. This drill is really teaching everybody how to hold a lane, create a nice, room to accelerate off the line, and to sail straight off the line without having to tack. Pretty straightforward. Does everybody understand? Adrian, did I do a reasonable job explaining that?
Yeah, definitely. And like every drill, guys, like the C2s are going to have a different experience than maybe the A's and B's, right? So like one of the other things, just kind of build upon this drill, right? If you're a C2, you're working on just like getting a spot on the line, front row, trimming in, having nice acceleration, and trying to drag race to get to that finish line first, right? That's your goal, right? C2, front row, good speed, cruise, drag, and try to get there as fast as you can, right? An A or B sailor would maybe look at this drill a little differently, and they're probably going to be looking at maybe what side of this start line is further downwind. So maybe if it looks something like this, this is the finish line. This is the finish line. You're going to find the side of the line that's further downwind, and you're going to try to test your angle and try to sail the shortest distance to finish that race, right? So checking your angles to position you to get exactly where you want to be. So if I was doing a start here, finish there, I'm constantly checking my angles on the line to see where I want to be to get to the spot on the finish line that I want to finish at. You're like Aubrey said, it's really intended to make sure you're on the front row, you have good acceleration at go, and that you're maintaining good boat speed, whether that's moving in a little, moving out a little bit, easing the sail in a lull, trimming in a puff, right? So the drills can get more advanced or a little bit more basic depending on what skill level you are. So if you have any questions when we're out there trying to figure out what to focus on, come find any of us and we'll be happy to help.
One more thing I'll add about this drill is changing modes. It's really important to be in the right mode at the right time. And this definitely applies to the A's, B's, maybe the C1s a little more. But knowing when it's time to pinch, knowing when it's time to foot, that's critical in this drill. And being able to shift gears if that lured boat is starting to pinch you off, or if you notice a hole to lured, you can put the bow down a little bit and get there first. That's going to be a part of it as well.
Amazing.
Awesome. Okay, Aubrey, am I up next?
You're up.
Okay. You guys hang in there. We're almost done. And the drill that I'm going to talk about now is called the up-down drill. And hopefully your parents shared with you the worksheet that we send so you guys can review this later, all the drills. But for this up-down drill, you're going to have a starting line. As you guys heard, almost every single drill is started. Each drill started with a start. So lots of starting practice. So you have a start line. there's gonna be a weather mark. There was something that I would like to add that's not on your worksheet. I'd like to add an offset mark here. So you guys get used to rounding an offset mark because you see that a lot in the races. Okay, and then you're gonna have a lure gate. So it's 2 marks underneath the starting line. Okay, it's gonna be a 2-minute start sequence. Okay, just like Cameron's drill with the cone drill, 2-minute start sequence. After go, your job is to race as fast as you can to your upwind mark. However, if you hear 2 whistles, everyone is going to turn downwind. So after the race, it could be maybe I blow the 2 whistles 20 seconds after the start, or maybe I blow 2 whistles 5 seconds after the start, after go. Okay, so if you hear 2 whistles and you're racing upwind, you're going to turn your boat down. Everyone's going to turn down, and you're racing to the gate. So if you're a C2 or a C3 or anyone, and you don't know how to round a gate, you get to choose from rounding from the inside of the gate to the outside. So this rounding down here is a starboard rounding, and this one would be called a port rounding. So you either choose a starboard rounding or you round the mark to port. Okay, that's how you round a gate. Some things to consider. The reason we like this drill is in an up-down drill, when we blow the 2 whistles to go down, it's putting you guys all in a single file line, basically across the course, and having some people from behind. So if you had a really good start and you hear 2 whistles, now you're in the back of the pack, right? And you're having to find, how are you going to catch up on that short downwind leg? Things you could do would be to position yourself to be directly behind someone and take their wind. That's a way you can pass someone. Or you're trying to position yourself coming into the gate rounding where you're on the inside. Okay, this is one of the things I think as a Sabot fleet, guys, all the coaches here are so passionate about Sabots. Sabot's the best boat you can sail. There's so many Olympians that have come out of Sabots. And basically, I think as a fleet, one of the things we need to work on is our lured mark roundings. And I won't take too much of your time on talking about lured mark roundings because your coaches can do that at another time. But lured mark roundings are really important, right? There's the 3 boat length circle. So if you put 3 boats in line with one another, you have this 3 boat length circle, and that has to do with room. Okay, not really drawn to scale, tried my best here. But basically what you're trying to do, if you're rounding this mark to port here, I kind of divide it into like quadrants. And here's your mark. This is quadrant 1, 2, and 3. And if you're going downwind, I personally try to position myself to come in down to a lured mark. Every coach may have their own opinion, but I try to come in at the end of a beat, kind of more in the quadrant 1 on a port rounding, so that I'm on the inside and I can do a wide and then a tight mark rounding. So with the up-down drill, it's important to know if you started at the pin, right, and we do a down, doing a port rounding is going to be hard because you're all the way on the other side of the race course. So maybe your goal is to try to do a starboard rounding and position yourself on the inside. If you started in the middle of the start line and you hear 2 whistles to race down, you're kind of in the middle sailing downwind, which usually isn't that great because you're not going to be coming in from one of the edges to get room on everybody else. So up-down drill is great for focusing on boat speed, how to pass people, right? How to keep your air clean, thinking about positioning so that you're on the inside at a lured mark. Or maybe if you're not on the inside, once you get into that 3 boat length zone, you could stop your boat, break that overlap, and then close the gap so that you're not rounding on the outside of your opponent, right? We want to avoid something like this, or this guy coming. We don't want to be this person down here, rounding to the outside. Lured mark roundings are the most important part because it sets you up for your last upwind beat. So if you round like this person on the outside, they're already giving you bad air. They're preventing you from being able to tack after the lured mark, and it just really messes up your last beat. So lured mark roundings I think as a fleet, we really need to work on them. This could be an hour-long chat-talk. I'm going to leave it at that. But lastly, if you don't hear a whistle after the start, you're racing upwind to the weather mark, going to your offset, going down to your gate, and finishing at the start-finish line. The starting line is not restricted, so you can go through the start line on that downwind if you want to, okay? So you can go through that. That's Dakota. That's Dakota.
And one more thing I'd like to add to this drill is it's easy to kind of give up after you have a good start, you're in the front, and then you hear those two whistles. But I don't want anybody to think of it that way, okay? Think of it as an opportunity to pass a boat or to pass two boats. You're distracting right now. So don't give up. If you had a great start and now you're in the back of the fleet because you heard the two whistles, challenge yourself to pass three boats, all right? It can be done. And so that turns kind of a negative situation into, good practice.
And then if it was two whistles, you go down to the gate and just finish upwind, like at the start line. Any questions about the start here, finish there? Or sorry, the up-down drill? Okay. Obs?
Okay, so I think that last up is Brooke. She's going to just talk a little bit about all things related to the C3s. I know we have a lot of new C3s too, so this will be really exciting. Hi, Brooke.
Hello. Hi, everybody. So I wanted you all on this call so that you could see all of the future things that you guys are looking forward to. As C3s, we're going to simplify it a little bit more. So we're only going to end up doing two drills. We're going to do the up-down drill that Adrian just explained. So when you're going up, when you do your start, we'll do a shortened start sequence as well. When you're going upwind, if you hear those two whistles, you're going to turn down and go through the gate, just like she explained. The other drill we're going to do, we're doing a modified slalom. So I'm going to share my screen because as C3s, the biggest thing we want to work on, sorry, give me 1 second, I lost my thing. Okay, biggest thing we want to work on is your sail trim when you are going upwind. So we're going to do a start, and then we're doing a slalom that you go up and pull in your sail, and then you ease your sail and come down to the next mark. And as you round that, it's like a leeward mark rounding where you come around, tighten that sail back in, and then come up and slalom through that way. And then you'll come down to a leeward mark and return to the starting area. So we're going to keep going through that. We're breaking up into two different groups, and we'll be rotating through just like the advanced sailors are. We will be in the Lido channel. Does anyone have any questions about that drill? I've sent this to your coaches, and they can send it back out to you as well. But ideally, the things we're working on here are making sure that going upwind, your sail is into the corner of your boat. And as you round those marks, that upwind mark, you're easing to make sure that you don't, get overpowered heading down, and that you're able to steer. Does any coaches have anything to add to that too? We're trying to keep it simple for you guys.
No, I think you did an amazing job. I think that's good. That was a good edit too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And then two things I want to add. One is practice the way you race. That's like my biggest tip. Practice the way you race. And so that means that if you foul somebody, it's good to practice those two turns. It's just practice. Get good at those turns, right? So practice the way you would race. And then the second tip and words of advice that I have for all our sailors is this is the first time we've done all this collaborative teamwork with all the clubs. So if you see someone from another yacht club that's just kicking butt out there, sailing super fast or has really good tacks, I encourage you to ask that sailor for a few tips. Like, hey, I noticed, Cameron, you have really good roll tacks. Can you walk me through it? And I guarantee that if you share all your secrets with someone else, it's going to come back for you in the future when you ask another person. So if we all work together, we'll, as a bay and as a region, grow as a group. So if someone asks you some tips, give it to them. Share every knowledge that you have with them.
I think that is a beautiful point. And to that end, we are going to have the Balboa Bay Fleet champion Chase Decker out there tomorrow sailing as a model. And I want you guys, he's a coach. We're sending him out there as a coach and a sailor. And I want everybody, you know, who's around him, A to C2, to feel free to go up to him and ask him questions, because he's there to help everybody out.
And to take that even further, oh, sorry, go ahead, Mark.
The only thing I was going to say, and amazing job by everybody who's speaking, this is the first mega collaborative. So when you do these maneuvers, and a lot of us are extremely competitive, let's try, nobody consciously T-bones or smashes the sharp bow of their boat into the side of somebody else's boat, causing what I call a zipper. But we're going to have to think on several of these drills about how to avoid collision, and you're going to have to think ahead so you don't do, especially if it's, you know, if it's really light air, people still bang it into each other, but it's just not that big a deal. It's more of a glancing blow. But if we do have pressure, and I doubt we will have a lot of pressure, but if we do have decent breeze, just be cognizant of the fact that don't destroy your equipment or somebody else's equipment, and just pay attention. You have to think ahead a little bit. Don't be quite so erratic, and let's try to keep boat smashing 101 to a minimum. I would really appreciate that for everybody. Thank you.
The last comment I want to make is kind of like what Adrian and Aubrey were saying about, you know, going up to other sailors and asking them questions. Same goes for coaches, okay? I would love it if I learned 10 new names tomorrow because you came up to me and asked me some questions about what's going on. And I'm telling my sailors to do the same thing, to go up to these other coaches, take advantage of this opportunity to learn from, you know, we've got a lot of talented coaches here in Southern California. And sometimes two coaches can say the exact same thing in a different way and it clicks. So use that to your advantage.
Well said. Thanks, guys.
Does anyone have any questions for any of us about how tomorrow is going to work?
Oh, lastly, sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh,
A's, B's, and C1s make sure you carry weights. It's really important that everyone's sailing the same. So A's, B's, and C1s for the joint practices. I mean, you should always carry weights, but just a friendly reminder.
beautiful.
Someone had a question, I think. Anyone? You can always ask us tomorrow as well. All the coaches will be out there and happy to help.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Liam.
I didn't join the call earlier ago, so I don't know what is the track.
Okay. So tomorrow when you show up, I will walk you through it, but also I emailed it to your mom, so you can take a look at it. Coaches, are you going to break people up into groups on the water?
All the A's and C2 should come over to, should all sail over to the slalom area as soon as they get out. That'll be the first thing that you do. And then that'll be set up when everybody gets out there. I'm pretty sure Mark's going to leave the dock, you know, pretty early, you know, by 2:30 probably. So, and then the starting line will be set up as well. So, you know, if there ends up being congestion, we'll break people up, but, you know, A's and C2s will sail together for the most part.
And then once we have everyone in the slalom, we'll say A's and B's go to Coach Cameron. You know, C1s go over to Adrian's drill, and C2s go over to Aubrey's drill. So we break everybody up into fleets, and then we'll do that for maybe 20 minutes, each drill for 20 minutes. And then you're going to rotate and go experience another drill.
Right. And we may combine fleets too, depending on how the flow, is going. But it'll be pretty easy to divide up the A's, B's, C1s, and C2s if we have to.
Any other questions, guys?
Looking forward to seeing everyone tomorrow.
Thanks for coming to the Zoom call.
Yeah, thanks for making the Zoom call, everybody. We'll see you out
You're
there.
welcome.
You guys can get off mute and
Bye.
say hi, bye.
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 Okay.
Guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.